I know a lot of us sometimes think that, okay, yes, we are limited. And one of the reasons why we feel that this boot camp is going, the boot camp series are going to be extremely successful if we can nail down the onboarding process, meaning the process of even getting people to be a part of it and come in and go through the sessions. One of the things we realized is that most human beings do not even know they are operating within a prevalent mindset. So for someone like myself, the last 7 months has been extremely challenging for me because I have been forced, same with God's law, to have to work with what the system is on ground in Nigeria. And the truth is that we couldn't have had a better learning curve because we now had to deal with people in an everyday method, in an everyday approach. And one of the key things I learned along the line was that we had a lot of presumptions. And our presumptions were ranging from what would an average 5-year-old in the United States know when a 40-year-old in Nigeria has no clue. And some of these questions that we've had to ask ourselves have been, how do you help someone to see that this necessarily is not the smartest way to operate, and also help them to come out of that mindset of thinking in a particular way. And it's been a challenge for us. I'll be absolutely honest with you. I mean, it was like the hardest of the things we've had to do. And it was also very eye-opening. And the beauty about it is because we work with organizations here who specialize in mindset. And they understand that even in the West, you have struggles with behaviors at work. And these behaviors at work or in the community or in the society are constantly undergoing various initiatives to change them. But more often than not, the behaviors don't change as much as you would want. And so what we've asked ourselves is, how are we going to identify what is unique to Nigeria in order to help the people in Nigeria? How do we identify the mindset, prevalent mindset in a place like Kenya and help the people in Kenya? How do we address the prevalent mindset in South Africa and help the people in South Africa? How do we address the prevalent mindset in the United States and help the people in the United States? Believe it or not, we do have an initiative that is aimed purely at helping the Black people in the United States and who have everything that you would think they would need, but there is still a prevailing mindset going on there. So I shared that video with you specifically because I wanted us to deal with certain things that could be part of the things that stops an individual from embracing change. Change is one of the hardest things to go through. And I know that a lot of people encounter it. You go to work, you encounter things about change, you go to church, you go to mosque, you go to wherever you are, you hear about change, how you have to embrace change, how change is important, how change is blah, 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 blah. Now, we're not going to repeat to you what we are almost certain you've heard over and over again. But like in the video, if a 13-year-old can say, I feel like I have wasted my life. I laughed when I heard that one because I was like, 13-year-old feels he's wasted his life. Hey, what do you want to say to me? The more I learn about certain things, the more I'm like, oh my gosh, it's like, where has the time gone? I wish I knew some of these things 10 years ago. I wish I knew them 20 years ago. And I showed you that video also to help you to harness part of what the lady said, not yet. Understanding that not yet does not mean never, okay? So even if you pass through Brave Achievers Boot Camp, I'll tell you this up front. If you go through this boot camp and you last till the 28th of September and you don't make it to getting your dream job, or even being certified, meaning like you just completed but you didn't make your points to get a Brave Achiever certification. I want you to understand that that does not mean you are not a Brave Achiever at heart, because it just means not yet. I want you to begin to look at everything that has been a failure or that is currently a failure and that will be a failure after you leave here as not yet. So it's not that you won't achieve some of these things. It's not that you won't accomplish some of these things. It's a not yet. There are several parts of your lives that needs to undergo an overhaul. We are all in the same boat, right? We are overhauling every different aspects according to the need of what needs to happen. There is no way you will spend 2 weeks on camp and your entire life is going to be completely overhauled. We are not pompous enough to think we have that kind of power. We don't have those magical wands. But the one thing we do know is that if you can spend 2 weeks and allow within that 2 weeks to come away with certain key points. One, not yet means that you have not yet accomplished certain things, but you will accomplish it. And understanding that you can succeed regardless of any limitation that you have. I would recommend that some of you watch that video 1 second, twice, third, 3, 4, 5 times and really hear again what she's saying. When somebody tells you that they take kids from the Bronx in America and they rewired the approach of how they taught them, they didn't change the kids, they just changed how. And these kids were now performing as well as the kids that come from the suburbs. I mean, some of the most luxurious places, and they were performing so well in a given period of time. What that tells me is that there is no human being that their life cannot change if they are determined to see a difference. But those kids that they worked with, there's no way those kids could have been successful if the kids themselves from the onset did not think, I want to do this, okay? So I think one of the key things we want to ascertain today, almost 7 days since you arrived, is do you want to do this? Because what's going to happen for the next 7 days is going to be as a result of what you answer yourself now. And I'll be honest with you, one of the most important things in life is being honest with yourself. I would respect more somebody who would, at the end of this session, walk up to Mrs. Owoye and say to her, I honestly don't think I want to do this. My heart is not in this. I just thought I wanted to go for a fun week somewhere. I'm going home. I would have a higher regard for that person who sincerely knows knows they don't want to do this than someone who knows they don't want to do this and sits in for the next 1 week. Because it's a complete waste, it will be a complete waste of your time and waste of someone else's space. And I know that might sound a bit odd or harsh, but think about it this way. I don't want to go into figures, but what it costs us to take one individual through 2 weeks of this boot camp is not just the monetary value, it's also about how many lives are rotating around this vision in order to help it to happen. And the highest level of injustice to the program would be attending the program knowing fully well that you really are not ready to embrace the change, or you're not ready to be open-minded enough to embrace the change. Now, these are two different things here. Embracing it and being open-minded enough to even understand, okay, what do you want me to change? I think some of you are going like, okay, she's talking change, she's talking mindset. What the heck does she want me to change? Or, I beg, let's leave this place now, go and do something else exciting. I guarantee you, the most exciting thing that can happen to your mind is when it undergoes a